Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 97 until I'm a YouTube millionaire. And I wanted to address something that I saw in a person's video essay that is an individual that I watch on a regular basis. Her name's Bailey Shieldbach. I believe she lives in Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. But she made a video called Define Your Values, Find Your Purpose. The essence of this video was she was discussing how she was at a pretty low point in her life, and her therapist had seen pretty clearly that this was in fact the case. So something that her therapist had gone through was this exact thing. Went to a farmer's house or something and lived with the farmer for a while because he didn't know what life was all about, what was the purpose of it. So the farmer took him out to a field one day with the snow-covered field, and you're kind of getting a telephone conversation here, or a telephone explanation of it. I like it, in all honesty. And the farmer asked the therapist, essentially, figure out your values. Don't think too much on them. Just whatever comes to mind, say it. And I responded to Bailey in a comment. By the way, her channel's growing so fast, probably 100 times faster than mine, that there's going to come a point in the very near future where she will no longer even be able to see the comments she's getting. She's getting so many of them. She started her channel I think a couple months ago, and she's already almost to 10,000 subscribers. For good reason. She's very wise, very intelligent, a lot of really good insights and stuff. But I wrote to her my values. Pretty straightforward, 3 things. In this order. God, which is love, by the way. God is love. Family, and vocation. If you misprioritize those things, that is, say you put vocation above God and family, you're going to live an unhealthy life. If you put family above God, even though family is very important, you're going to end up being somebody like Baron de Rothschild and eschew being your brother's keeper, or more accurately, George Soros. And you're going to eschew being your brother's keeper and try to depopulate the earth. So God has to come first, which is love. And, I could go into all the different permutations and combinations of that, but that is the basic prioritization, which is actually biblical for good reason. And then beyond that, I wrote a list of 3 things that I want in a specific order in my life in order to live fulfilled and happy. The first one is my health back. I have, as I've said many a time on my channel, every one of my live streams, I tell you guys, I have this thing called crucifixion disease, aka stigmata. St. Padre Pio had the same thing. A bunch of other saints in Catholic Christianity had it. But basically, you get symptoms of being put on the cross, like Jesus was. That is, you might get bloody holes in your hands and might cry blood, stuff like that. In my case, it manifested as my arteries being obliterated in my distal arms and legs. So I don't get good circulation. I used to run marathons, and now I can hardly walk. I have said that many a time. I was attacked for very clear reasons to me, but you guys couldn't know because you haven't lived my life and you didn't see what happened. I did. Basically, it happened right when I became a professed Christian. Yeah. So, anyway. Demons exist. All right? They do. So that's the first priority. The second one, romance, meet the love of my life. As I've said in many videos, I might have an unorthodox situation because I'm duking it out with those demons on a day-to-day basis and they're forcing me to have to do a specific thing. Now, like I said, we are all unique individuals, but some of us are more unique than others, no doubt. I mean, we're all, in a way, painted red, camouflaged as to who and what we actually are. I'm not saying that I am this, but it is possible that there are people out there that are subtle in their appearance, but are actually not human, are aliens, quote unquote. They're not alien because they're not foreign to you, but they're extraterrestrial, as in beyond Earth, whether from a different dimension or a different planet. It's very much possible, and it might have something to do with the demonic and the angelic realms and stuff. It might not even be just like, a gray alien or whatever, whatever you might image in your pop culture perspective of it. But it's something different. It's something unique. It's something highly valuable. And you can kind of be foisted into an unorthodox situation in order to perpetuate yourself, make more of you. Say you're a unique individual, you're an actual different species and you don't even realize it, and you're like the last of your kind. And if you don't have as many kids as possible, you're going to die out. And you're something that people want to live because you're just really, really amazing for one reason or another. Again, I'm not saying this is me. I'm not. I'm just a regular dude. But there could be people out there that are that. And in that light, those people would need to be flexible to accept an unorthodox situation where they're willing to be with many, many women, to have as many children as possible, to produce as much genetic diversity as possible, so that the lineage can continue. It doesn't have to be 100% your genetic line, right? But you would probably want to have cousins, brothers, sisters, and whatnot procreating together to maximize the amount of said line that you have. I know, it's weird, right? But desperate times call for desperate measures. Who knows? That could be any one of us. We have no idea. And if it were the case, then very much you would want to keep that thing alive. If you saw something that was the embodiment of love, like unconditional love, and it was only one of one, because all the other ones are gone, like the Doctor in Doctor Who. His species, he wasn't love, he's just a really good dude, but his entire species was obliterated by the Daleks. He was the last of his kind. And a really good dude, really smart, really well put together, loved people, loved humanity, did everything he could to help them. In his situation, he may very well have to be with many, many women. Now, if you also keep in mind, he lived a very long life, at least up until the Peter Capaldi era of the story. He was like 1,300 years old. And then when Peter Capaldi came in, they had two episodes called Heaven Bent and Hell Sent, or other way around, Heaven Sent, Hell Bent. And the name was purposeful. And he was basically thrown into a prison for 4.5 billion years, where he kept on dying and being reborn, dying and being reborn. And he couldn't actually fully die, like, with finality. He just kept coming back. But after he got out of that prison, he found a way to escape, which was possible, just very, very difficult. He was 4.5 billion plus 1,300 years old. So really ancient and a really good dude. You want him to have a lot of kids. But in this case, he did actually save his species. He found a way to save Gallifrey, his home. Which, by the way, in my interpretation, is actually heaven. And the denizens of Gallifrey are angels. And he, being the president of heaven, is God. And there are actually episodes during the Matt Smith era of the Doctor Who series where when the Doctor is in relations with River Song, there's a certain series of episodes where he freezes time to prevent existence from obliterating. And because he's doing that, basically everything is all topsy-turvy and all over the damn place. And there was crazy things happening that shouldn't be happening, like up is down, down is up, red is green, the sky is raining diamonds. I don't know, just using it as an example. I don't remember exactly that type of stuff. But I bring it up because there's actually a scene in that episode. It's actually a series of episodes, but one of the episodes where Matt Smith, the doctor, is dressed as Jesus. You can find the episode. It's there purposefully. The doctor's a unique individual, and you want a lot of him. So, and in his case, because he lived so long, he actually had multiple romantic partners. He had Billy, British female name. I think it's kind of funny, but I think that's actually her real life name. I forget her name in this story, in the series. But Billy. Then there was River Song. Then there was, of course, his wife and children when he was on Gallifrey before he escaped from the destruction of it all. He was the only one that escaped. Everybody died. And then he finds a way to save them all. It's something to think about. I've thought about it every day since I've seen those episodes. Legitimately. And these things stir around, mix around in my head as I try to figure out what's actually the right path for me to take. Because if that were the case somehow, and it's not, but if it were, something I don't want, I would just have to take. And there's a lot of benefits to it. I mean, hey, who wouldn't get enjoyment out of being with many, many women? My brother Brandon is a perfect example of this. He's got a makeshift harem that he doesn't want to admit is a harem. But it is. It is. And that's okay. Hey, all right. The women are down for it, so that's your business. That's your business. So that's the second priority, romance. And then the third one is to make financial issues no longer a thing in my life. I don't want them to ever be a thing in my life again. And this is critically important, especially in a no-fault divorce state like California, where half of all of my wealth can be taken away if I end up getting separated with an erstwhile wife or something. It's utterly disgusting what has happened in California in that regard. It has destroyed the institution of marriage. So I'm getting a little aggressive there, but that's something I'm very passionate about. It pisses me off. It needs to be fixed immediately. So I need to have a ton of wealth, just like Elon Musk, so that I can actually properly raise all these children that I want to have and that the world apparently wants me to have, for one reason or another. Like I said, I don't think that I'm this person, this type of person that's like a unique individual, one of one, but I would flex if it turned out I was. And I would need to have a lot of money to raise all those kids properly. $300,000 per child from 0 to 18 in current United States dollars is what you might expect to pay. So that means if I want to have 1,000 kids, do the math. I need a lot of money. A lot of it. And I don't have anywhere near that right now. So that's a limiting factor that needs to be fixed. If people want me to make this work, if this is something that God wants me to do, which I don't know if it is, but if it is, then give me the fucking money to do it. That's the first damn step. Anyway. So I wrote this on Bailey Schildbach's video because I watch her every video she makes. She's got excellent insights. I love them. I love her mind. It is fantastic. Good conversations. You can't really find them many other places. But it is important. Define your values. Define your values. They're tied into who and what you are. The purposes. And for those who think that legacy doesn't matter, look at a situation like this. Put yourself in those shoes. What if you are one of one? I'm not talking about myself. What if it's you? What would you do? Anyways, that's all I got for today, guys. Think about it. Love y'all. Peace.